Muchas gracias.
Merci. Mucho gusto.
Feliz viaje, que les vaya muy bien.
Gracias.
Y muchas bendiciones.
Say goodbye, Frank.
Life is a winding
goodbye.
road.
Okay, go get
No
one last time.
telling where it goes. Driving through days
Good
and
boy,
nights.
let's go.
Won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know, really wanna know.
Love you guys. Love you so much.
If
We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my heights.
Well guys, we are finally back and mobile in the van again. Not a van again, but in the van again. It's pretty exciting. We're leaving Pisac. We are heading deep into the Andes. I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited. We're heading towards Puno. There was a big debate of whether we were gonna go to Puno or not because, as most of you guys know, Leave Everything in Wonder was just robbed in Puno. But it's on Lake Titicaca and we really want to see Lake Titicaca. We're really excited about it. So since we are heading into Puno where our friends were recently robbed, this brings up a lot of questions about safety. So today we're actually going to be talking a lot about safety, how we keep safe when we travel, things we do, things we don't do. Hopefully you guys find it informative.
Safety is something you want to be concerned about wherever you're traveling. If you're in South America, Europe, the States, Canada, you always want to be a little bit on the lookout, pretty vigilant, because things can happen anywhere, everywhere. The first thing that we always do when we're about to go somewhere else is we do a ton of research. Whether that is on iOverlander, Google reviews, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Lonely Planet, websites, there are so many different ways you can find out about your exact route, whether that area is safe, where is a good place to sleep. So it sounds kind of obvious, but the number one thing we recommend is just do your research.
The next thing we wanted to talk to you guys about, or tell you what we've learned, is that always plan where you're going to sleep that night. We always look up at least a couple different places to camp or park, because one, you never know if these campsites are always going to be still in business, and two, maybe you get there and it's not what you were expecting.
We always make sure we leave enough time for us to get there before dusk. We want to scope out an area in the daylight, and you don't ever want to drive at night, especially outside of the United States where these roads are like totally smaller and different. There's no street lights. It's a lot more dangerous, and it's just risks that you don't need to take. They're just unnecessary. So we plan ahead, number one. Number two, plan where you're going to sleep for the night and make sure you get there before dark.
Yeah, and I apologize for the wind. We are actually up here. Oh, I gotta walk through some gross water. So we're at the top of a mountain pass right here. You can see that black and white sign. It says we're at 4,335 meters above sea level.
Pretty high, it's crazy.
Which is pretty intense.
There's glaciers here. We're like way up high.
Yeah, these glaciers that are up here.
I didn't realize that in Peru, of the 128 or so climates in the world, Peru has like 87 of them. So like deserts, mountains, glaciers, jungles, rainforests, cloud forests, beaches, like Peru is insane.
It's really cool here. And where we're heading is Lake Titicaca, and supposedly Lake Titicaca is like the highest lake in the world that's of its size or something like that.
They call it the ocean on top of the world.
And it's also known as the Earth's navel, the Earth's belly button, which is really weird. But anyway, let's get back on the road. One of the next things we're going to touch base on that helps keep us safe is filling up gas. Now, me and Allie actually disagree on this point. I think anytime you get below a quarter of a tank and you see a gas station, you should probably fill up. That usually keeps us pretty safe. However, we've come pretty close to running out of gas a few times, and Allie believes that we shouldn't go below half a tank without filling up for gas, which just makes us fill up for gas very frequently.
It's probably unnecessary sometimes, but in the places that we've been traveling recently, gas stations are few and far between. We're way up high in the mountains. It's definitely worth it to fill up pretty much whenever you see a gas station. So we're at about half of a tank right now. next one we see, I think we're gonna stop and fill up.
Because really the last thing you want is to run out of gas and have no cell phone service. And even if you have cell phone service, it can be pretty sketchy. Well, we made our way to Juliaca, which is a town right outside of Puno. Haven't quite made it to the place where we're gonna spend the night, but it's really cool to see. I mean, this town is like basically in the sky.
It's weird because we've been driving for 6 hours almost all day through these plateaus, these gorgeous, vast valleys up in the sky. We're so high up in elevation. There haven't been any big towns, zero. There's been like a gas station and a hut for 6 hours. And now all of a sudden, up at this crazy high elevation, there's a huge town.
You had me at hello, 'cause where you go is where I go. I don't need nobody else. I got you, and you got me too.
Well, we just made it to our destination in Puno. And this leaves us to, a lot of times, especially in some of these countries, the places where you park, they'll actually make you pay to park. So you have to pay maybe $5 or $10 or maybe more. But this is something that usually has fences, they have guards, there's people there 24 hours a day to keep you safe.
Especially because you need to be able to sleep well so that you can enjoy the next day. And if you have one eye open all night long, the next day is terrible.
You don't sleep good at all.
So it's definitely worth it for us.
This is the town where Luca and Sara had their incident, so we're definitely paying to park here.
So speaking of Sara and Luca, which is the reason we are staying here in a very secure camp spot for the night, that brings up the importance of strength in numbers. And we have found that it is really helpful whenever possible to make friends along the road and travel together. It makes you a lot less vulnerable, and just the fact that there's a few more people and another vehicle, you can park closely to each other at night, is something that we have found that is very helpful.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't mean that if you have people with you that you won't get broken into, because when we were in Nicaragua, Jordan and Kaylee were parked right behind us when people tried to break into our van. But if there's more than one vehicle and something happens to one vehicle, at least you know you have some friends that are close by that can help you in any type of a situation. So strength in numbers is very important.
It's also just such a gift to make friends along the road as you go with other travelers, with locals or tourists. We have had such an amazing few days in the Sacred Valley of Peru, making some amazing friends. We were actually really lucky to be invited to one of our friends' birthdays yesterday.
Yay! It's Trent and Allie, everybody!
You're the flare, you're the song inside my head, and I will taste every note. Feels so good when you're in my head. And you're the fire, you're the flare, you're the song inside my head, and I will taste every note. Feels so good.
But now that we've been driving all day long, what was it, like 6 hours through crazy high mountains and peaks and valleys and just insane altitude, we're gonna do something a little special. We're gonna go have some dinner.
Looks like we might have made a mistake.
I did not realize this was a fancy restaurant. This looks like extremely fancy.
We got here to this hotel and we were hoping that there was like a restaurant close by, and they were like, oh, we have a restaurant here, no problem, it's in the back.
So we ordered the soup of the day because we really wanted a hot soup. It's kind of cold out, but it's really nice and a little expensive here, so we thought we'd just order one to share, but they brought us two, so we're each getting our own, I guess.
I'm not gonna complain. So one of the last little tidbits of information that we have to share about how to stay safe in van life, or how to keep safe, is to respect authority. And that comes with military, police, locals. Basically, there are a lot of different things that you can do to put yourself in a better standing with all of these people.
Wherever we go, whenever we encounter police or military checkpoints, especially on the road, we try to speak in Spanish whenever possible, be extremely respectful and polite, and always have our documents in order and prepared, ready to hand them over and show them that we're here legally, there are no problems, and just be super accommodating. Even if they are trying to like hassle us for money or bribes or something, we're just always super polite, always respectful. So far, that's been very helpful.
Me and Allie have actually had really good luck, but I think a lot of that comes from the respect that we pay them. Oh, don't mind me, just feeding my starter. My starter had a really weird trip through the mountains because as the air pressure changes, there's all these bubbles inside the starter, and so I think they like popped out the top and it looks all weird now. Hoping I didn't kill it. I think it's good still.
We're gonna make a bread soon?
We're gonna make a bread soon. We had a really good time today. Not only traveling from Cusco to Puno to Lake Titicaca. We're so excited to be here. It's tomorrow. We have something very special in store, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it answered some of your questions about whether van life is safe, how to stay safe in van life, and all things considered.
I would say yes, van life is totally safe, but just like everything else in life, you have to take precautions, you have to be prepared, and the more you know, the safer you are. But it's awesome, and we highly recommend it to anybody interested.
Whether you're a van lifer or an aspiring van lifer, hopefully you guys found this video informational, helpful, useful, and thanks for watching.
Thanks guys, we love you.
See you guys on the next one.
Adios.
Leaving this place, the sun's about to break. You're riding shotgun. The feeling we chase, I'm wide awake. Take me